I took my bonus room over my garage from 85 degrees down to 71 degrees without upgrading one piece of HVAC equipment or cranking my thermostat down to make my HVAC work harder. And what's crazy is that same room is now warmer in the winter. You see, most contractors are going to tell you that you need to upgrade to low E glass windows or install a bigger HVAC system, and I understand why many homeowners fall for that, because that seems to be all the contractors are selling today. You see, over the past 20 years, I've helped thousands of homeowners improve their indoor air quality and total comfort of their home. And I can tell you that 9 times out of 10, installing new windows or a large AC does very little to fix a hot bonus room. That's why in this video, I'm going to share with you exactly what I did in my own home. Now, before I get into what I did, I want to share with you, why do bonus rooms fail in the first place? Because if you don't understand why, you're just going to keep throwing money at the wrong solutions. A bonus room over a garage is one of the hardest rooms in the home to keep comfortable. And here are a few reasons why. First, it's surrounded on almost every side by an unconditioned space. You've got the garage below, you've got the roof directly above it, or at least very close to it, and on a lot of homes, those knee walls are just open to the attic. Think about what that means for a minute. You've got 130 to 140 degree air sitting right next to the room you're trying to cool down to 72 degrees. And that heat doesn't like to stay on its side of the wall. It wants to come over on your side because heat always moves towards cold. Second, the HVAC duct that services the room you're sitting in almost always runs through that hot attic. So that 72 degree air your system worked hard to cool is traveling through a duct surrounded by 140 degree air before it ever reaches the vent. So by the time it gets to you, it's already warming up. I was inspecting a bonus room a while back, and the homeowner was absolutely convinced that they needed a new AC system. The old one was installed just 6 years ago. I went into that attic space and found that the ducts weren't even insulated properly. There were knee walls with no insulation on it, and the knee wall door had zero weather stripping. The AC system wasn't the problem. The building envelope around the room was the problem. I see that constantly, and that's exactly what we're going to fix. So here's the order that works, and I want you to write this down because most contractors get this completely backwards. Seal first, insulate second. Here's where I think a lot of homeowners get really frustrated. You see, air sealing takes time. It's much faster for a contractor to blow in more insulation or to staple fiberglass bats to a knee wall and move on to the next job. Proper air sealing often requires the removal of old insulation and sealing dozens of gaps one at a time, and then putting all the insulation back. That, of course, is time consuming and can cost the contractor money. So a lot of companies just skip that step, not because they're trying to do anything wrong, because it's faster and more profitable to just install insulation than it is to air seal all the leaks and then install insulation. I've mentioned this in several videos. Insulation only slows heat transfer. Air sealing is the only way to stop hot attic air from getting into your house. If you skip the air sealing, you're allowing one of the biggest enemies of your comfort to attack your living space all day long. What does air sealing mean in a bonus room? It means closing up every gap where hot attic air can get in. The top plates of all interior and exterior walls, any penetrations where wires or pipes go through, and don't forget to air seal any attic hatches as well as weather strip any knee wall doors. I've been in attics with 1.5 feet of insulation, sitting on top of gaps that I could literally stick my arm through. All that insulation, all that money, and the room was still miserable because nobody sealed the leaks first. Now, when I opened the knee wall door in my own bonus room, I immediately knew why that room was so miserable. I could actually see daylight through the soffit because the ventilation system was working exactly the way it was designed to do. The problem was that nobody separated that ventilation air from my bonus room. And if you can see daylight, hot air is coming in. It's amazing to me that homes are being built according to code with every bit of that hot outside air entering right through through the soffits. Plus, there were active wasp nests on the attic side of my soffits. I had a hot summer breeze blowing inside of my bonus room with wasps just waiting to get in. So instead of allowing that hot air to wash across my knee walls, I sealed that entire area with rigid foam board and spray foam, and I created a solid air barrier from the soffit all the way up to the ridge in the attic above. Now that hot outside air only had one place to go, up that ventilation channel that I had created with the foam board and the spray foam, and out through the ridge vent exactly the way it was supposed to be done. I made a video about what I did, so make sure you check the description if you want to see it. It's amazing how that one thing made a huge difference in the comfort of our bonus room. Also, if you want to know exactly where to look and how to seal your attic, I put together a free resource guide called the Attic and Air Seal Guide, and the link is in the description. Now here's the thing most people miss entirely, and I mean most contractors too: the knee walls. In a bonus room over a garage, you typically have short vertical walls where the roof line comes down. And in most homes I walk into, those knee walls either have no insulation at all, or they've got fiberglass bats that are just kind of hanging there, doing almost nothing. And here's why fiberglass fails in that application. Fiberglass works great when the air is still. The problem is behind most knee walls, the air isn't still, so hot attic air moves right through it. What you want on a knee wall is a rigid foam board that acts both as an air barrier and a thermal break. Or you could bring the knee wall inside the thermal envelope by insulating and air sealing the roof deck above it instead of the knee wall itself. In my bonus room, I used rigid foam board on the knee walls and sealed every edge with spray foam. That space went from being a direct path for attic heat to being a dead zone, and the room became cooler almost immediately. Now let's talk about the ductwork situation, because this is typically where homeowners are losing a lot of money every single month and they don't even know it. If your HVAC ducts run through that unconditioned attic, and in a bonus room situation they almost always do, those ducts need to be insulated to at least R8. A lot of homes either have R4 or R6 insulation installed, and some don't have any insulation at all. But here's the thing, even a well-insulated duct leaks. The connections at the boots, the joints, and between the sections, they're not airtight. And that conditioned air is leaking out into your attic before it ever reaches your room. According to the Department of Energy, most ducts leak at least 25%. You could literally double the size of your HVAC system and it probably wouldn't make a difference. Because the problem isn't the system, it's the delivery system. So what I did in my own home was seal every duct connection with mastic. And let me tell you, when I was done air sealing those ductwork, the difference was absolutely amazing. If your HVAC contractor tells you that the fix is a bigger system, make sure to ask them to check your duct for leakage first. That could save you a whole lot of money. By the way, one of my most watched videos is me air sealing a ductwork in an attic, and I'll put a link in the description if you want to do it yourself. Now we've sealed the knee walls and we've addressed the ductwork, but there's still one more piece that most people overlook: the attic floor directly above the bonus room ceiling. In most homes, that area is very difficult to get to and usually has very little to no insulation. And the roof deck is really close to it. Just like we talked about with the knee walls, that section of the attic also needs to be air sealed before putting down any new insulation. The Department of Energy recommends between R49 and R60 for most of the country when it comes to attic insulation, and many of the attics I've been into typically have R19 or less, especially in older homes. In my home, when I finished everything, air sealing, knee walls, duct insulation, attic insulation, I remember standing in that room in one of the hottest days of the year. It was literally 96 degrees outside with a heat index of 108, and my bonus room was a cool 71 degrees. That's when I knew I had finally fixed the real problem, and I didn't install new windows or upgrade my HVAC system. Okay, now let me bust a few myths because I hear these constantly. Myth number 1, low E windows will fix my hot bonus room. Now, low E glass does reduce radiant heat through the glass itself. That's a real thing. But if your walls, your knee walls, the attic space above the room are leaking heat like a sieve, new windows are very expensive and a partial solution. Fix the envelope first. Myth number 2, a bigger AC unit will solve it. A bigger AC unit does cool faster, but often cycles off sooner. Short cycling means less dehumidification and sometimes more humidity, and the room still feels uncomfortable. Right-sized equipment in a properly sealed and insulated space beats oversized equipment in a leaky space every time. Myth number 3, more insulation will fix my bonus room. If your attic is leaking air around the knee walls, top plates, attic hatch, and ductwork, adding more insulation without air sealing first will do very little to improve your comfort. Myth number 4, this is probably the one I hear the most. It's just a hot room, that's normal for a bonus room. No, it's common, but it's not normal. There's a difference. Common means a lot of homes have it. Normal means it's supposed to be that way. It's not. It's a building science problem with a building science solution. I've covered a lot, so let me give you the short version one more time. If your bonus room is always hot in the summer or cold in the winter, don't start by replacing the windows in the HVAC system. Start with the building envelope. Seal first, insulate second. Then make sure your ductwork and your ventilation are working the way they're supposed to. And if you really want to understand how all of this works together, I wrote Seal First, Insulate Second, the complete owner's guide to attic air sealing and insulation. It goes way deeper into everything that we've talked about today and will help you avoid some very expensive mistakes. There's a link to that in the description as well. Finally, if you're still trying to figure out how attic ventilation fits into all of this, I want you to watch the video that's on the screen now. It's called Attic Ventilation Explained. It pairs perfectly with this video, and it'll answer a lot of questions I think some homeowners may still have after watching this one. I'm Michael Church with Crawl Space Ninja, and I hope you make it a happy and blessed day, and I'll see you later.